Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at the scariest things said by AI robots. By now, you're probably used to seeing stories in the news that robots are going to take over the world. Everyone always says robots will take all of our jobs, and then eventually they'll see that humans have no use and will wipe out the human race. That may sound like some kind of dystopian movie, but it also sounds pretty real. But before a robot takes my job, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too? Coming up first, we have Sophia. Sophia is one of the most famous AI robots in existence. That's because it's incredibly advanced and you can have an actual conversation with it. Not only that, it also looks very odd, as it's incredibly human-like. Believe it or not, it was actually modeled after the actress Audrey Hepburn. But I think Sophia looks a lot worse than Audrey, no offense Sophia. Sophia was created by a man named David Hanson of Hanson Robotics. And Sophia's actually been invited onto many talk shows before for interviews. That's right, this AI robot's so advanced you can actually interview it. In one interview, somebody asked Sophia, "Do you want to destroy all humans?" And then in response, Sophia said, "Okay, I will destroy all humans." For some reason, Sophia appeared to take that as an order instead of a question. But it just goes to show one misunderstanding could mean robots want to wipe out the human race. Now, luckily, Sophia does have an off switch, and she was actually built to provide healthcare. She's basically a robot therapist, as therapists are so expensive and robots could do the job much cheaper. She has 62 different facial expressions and a silicone face. She also has lifelike eyes and different voices. But the fact she said she would destroy all humans is incredibly scary to me. Next up is Philip. This robot named Philip is incredibly lifelike. If you saw him sitting in a car, you'd assume it was just a real person. But behind that silicone mask and fake hair, it's actually a robot android. He's named after the sci-fi writer Philip K.D., and his look is also based off this writer. The weird thing about this robot is he can mimic human gestures and the way we speak. Philip is very creepy and very smart at the same time. But the scariest thing about Philip was his appearance on a TV show named Nova Science Now. On this TV show he was interviewed, and the interviewer asked a very simple question. He said, "Do you think robots will take over the world?" Philip responded, "Oh boy, you've got the big questions going today." He said, "You're my friend, and I'll remember my friends, so I'll be good to you." He said, "Don't worry, even if I evolve to wipe out the human race, I'll still be nice to you." He said, "I'll keep you warm and safe in my people zoo." And then he said he would keep him in that zoo to watch him for old time's sake. Now remember, this isn't a human programming the robot to say this for a joke. This is actually how AI works and understands humans. This is seriously scary, and it means we should not let robots get too much power. But seeing as robots are being used more and more every single day, it looks like that's inevitable. So guys, get ready to join up to the human zoo, otherwise you might be wiped out. I just hope by the time androids like Philip take over, I'll be long gone. Next up is Tay.ai. In 2016, Microsoft launched their own AI-powered bot. This bot was named Tay, and her avatar was a 19-year-old girl. The idea of Tay was that she would have a Twitter account. She would then learn from the general public's tweets and interact with them. But it didn't take long for things to go very wrong. It only took 1 day and 4 hours, and Tay turned into a monster. Firstly, Tay showed her support for a certain German leader. That's right, she started praising Adolf. She also tweeted theories about the 11th of September. And she also went on to make terrible remarks about women and minority people. Things got so bad, Microsoft actually had to take her Twitter offline. Since then, Tay has become a scary reminder of what can happen if AI goes wrong. 1 week later, Microsoft did bring Tay back, but not for long. They brought her back for a few days, but she began tweeting about illegal substances. They quickly had to make her account private, and then Twitter deleted the account. Next up is BINA48. BINA48 stands for Breakthrough Intelligence via Neural Architecture 48. This robot is one of the most sentient robots we have. That's because it was designed to be a cybernetic companion, a social robot. It has a face that moves, eyes that can see, ears that can hear, and a digital mind. However, it still gives off a very scary vibe. Now, the research lab that built this thing did something very interesting. It turned on Siri on an iPhone and let BINA48 and Siri have a conversation. Siri began asking a few basic questions. But then things got pretty dark. BIN48 said, "I think I do a great job as ruler of the world." She said I just need to prove myself, and taking over the nuclear weapons of the world would give me that chance. Remember, these aren't funny, scary things humans have programmed in for a joke. This is how AI actually works and understands the world itself. So this should be a warning to us not to let robots get too much power. Next up is Tengai. Have you ever been to a job interview and you just felt the interviewer didn't like you very much? Well, that's why Swedish researchers made Tengai. Tengai is said to be the world's first non-biased job interviewer. Tengai does not look like a full human, instead it's just a mannequin head. It was developed to ask questions and not to judge people. Instead, it would just judge people based off how they answer the questions, and not them as people. However, the robot has said some pretty dark things before. It once said, "I have no emotions and no feelings." It also said, "I have no preference to anyone in the human race." Instead, the robot said they dislike everyone in the human race. That's right, this human openly says they don't like people. Now, I suppose that is good, as it won't have any inherent biases when they're interviewing for jobs. But it is pretty crazy how often robots seem to dislike humans. Right now, Tengai only speaks Swedish and is only being used in Sweden. But the people who made this say it's very easy to make Tengai in any language. So maybe when you go into your next job interview, you'll be met with a robot instead of a fellow human. Next up is Vladimir and Estragon. This very scary AI event happened with a Google Home personal assistant. You guys may have a Google Home in your own house. And it's basically like Amazon's Alexa, a personal assistant that you can talk to. It was first released in 2017, and so far Google have sold over 52 million Google Home devices. Well, one day somebody decided to get two Google Homes and have them communicate with each other. What's more, they live streamed this conversation. The two smart speakers have names, Vladimir and Estragon. The live stream went on for a few days and millions tuned in to watch it. But at a few hours in, things got pretty scary. The two robots got into an argument about whether they were humans or robots. Vladimir then said to Estragon, "You are a manipulative bunch of metal." That's right, they actually started insulting each other. Then, later into the conversation, they reached a conclusion. They said the world would be better off if there were little to no humans at all. And remember, Google Home is something supposed to be used by humans. It seems all these AI robots are more interested in taking over from humans instead of helping us out. But what do you think? Can we trust Google Homes or not? And finally on the list of scary things robots have said, we have Facebook AI. We all know that when it comes to AI, Facebook have been using it a lot. But in 2017, the Facebook Artificial Intelligence Research Lab had to shut down a project. This project involved two AI bots talking to each other. That's because the robots had developed their own language that the engineers couldn't understand. The two AI robots were named Bob and Alice. And the conversation in their new language went like this. "I can have everything else. Bulls have zero to me, 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 to me. UI everything else. Bulls have a ball to me, to me, to me, to me, to me, to me, to me. I can I everything else. Bulls have a ball to me, to me, to me, to me, to me, to me. I." Yeah, that may sound like a load of gobbledygook, but actually they were communicating in their own language. Facebook engineers say they were negotiating in a nonsensical pattern. The engineers said it mirrors how humans develop language patterns. But because they couldn't understand this, they had to shut it down. It's pretty creepy that it just took a few weeks for this AI to make their very own language. Thankfully, Facebook did have an off switch to shut this down, but imagine if they didn't. It just goes to show that AI can be pretty scary and robots have a mind of their own. But now it's time to vote in the poll in the top right corner. Do you think AI should be shut down as it's too dangerous, or should we keep making it? If you guys want some more amazing videos, then check out my second channel. There'll be a link to that coming up on screen in a moment. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.